the regular beer project series, sub-series, Double Down. What are we doubling down on today at 11:38 a.m.? A couple of things, more than a couple of things, a few things. Milwaukee's best premium beer, introduced originally in 1895 and then rebranded, reformulated to some extent in 1984 and rolled out with a big campaign to capture the very profitable below premium segment, as Miller Brewing Company calls it. Miller Brewing Company, founded in 1855, bought out by a investment firm in 1966, and then the big offer from Philip Morris Cigarette Company in 1969, completed in 1970. They continue to hold the biggest share of, let me get this out the freezer, the biggest share of SAB Miller, and they are currently selling off their mammoth company, the Miller part of it, to Molson-Coors, all the rest of it mostly to Anheuser-Busch InBev, and then breaking off little pieces like Peroni and others to various companies. Okay, here's their most current label: Milwaukee's best premium beer, brewed for freshness and classic taste. August 3rd, 2016. They got the date, guys. It's not too hard to figure out. If it's, the further out it is, the fresher it is. So it's pretty fresh. And it was brewed, it gives you a code here, at, oh, that's squunched up. In our area, it's typically Fort Worth or Albany. Fort Worth, Texas, or Albany, Georgia. There's a lawsuit going on between Pabst Brewing Company and Miller right now. Miller said they're going to shut down their Eden, I believe it's Virginia brewery, and Pabst said, well, that's where all our big chunk of our beer is brewed, and you're going to screw up our, here's some extra sharp cheddar cheese from Borden. I'll just put that down in the beans with the red pepper from Great Value. And someone told me, oh, Crystal hot sauce, that is your best hot sauce. I said, you know what? I find that Crystal hot sauce and Great Value from Walmart tastes suspiciously similar, which it wouldn't surprise me if Balmer Foods, about 5 or 6 miles west of me, is not doing the contract, whatever that's called, saucing for Walmart. Contract brewing, contract food production, contract sauce is a big part of a company's business, maybe the biggest part in the case of if you're servicing Walmart. Smells like your typical American style lager beer. Budweiser, to an extent. Now, you know, Budweiser is one of those unique things. Nothing smells like Budweiser or tastes like Budweiser, but it's in the ballpark, but it's just got its own little niche. But Coors, Miller High Life, Old Milwaukee, Pabst Blue Ribbon, etc., 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 they're all kind of similar. They're more similar than different, even with Budweiser in its own little special classic world. Thick white head in the Miller way. You know, Miller beers have that thick head with all that elaborate lacing and a clear straw gold appearance. 1861 comes along, 6 years after Fred Miller established Frederick Miller Brewing, Fred Miller. Gilbert Van Camp decided he's going to can navy beans, white beans, with tomato sauce. And today we think, well, that's pretty normal, pork, beans, and tomato sauce, duh. Yeah, but in 1861, apparently this was like some new big thing. His son Frank came along later and improved the recipe. It became like the biggest pork and beans company in the world, and you know what's going to happen with that? Just like Miller, it's getting bought out. currently owned by ConAgra, Consolidated Agriculture. And if you get on their website, they own like a billion food brands. Not a billion, but you know what I mean. Like, it seems like it. Go in the store and you can play a game. Try to find stuff that's not made by ConAgra. Armor. Now someone, and I'm not going to say his name because then he'll say I'm picking on him. Even though I'm just commenting on something he said, and I'm not picking on you. He said if you're going to do a long 30-minute video, which he says is like an advertisement, I don't agree. I don't work for Miller too much. But I'm not advertising this beer just because I drank it all the time, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 since 1996. But Philip Danforth Armour in 1867 started Armour Meat Packing Company. But anyway, this guy says, if you're going to do a long video like that, you just soon review Vienna sausages. And I was like, ding, that's what I'm going to do one day. I did the original and the video didn't come out right. They had different mistakes in it. And then I did the bourbon barbecue, which by the way is very good. And here's the hot and spicy, so maybe we'll look for this coming up down the road. The sausage I cut up and put in here was Johnsonville jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage. Pre-cooked, but you know, it helps when you heat it up. They're good. Hot. Here's the better with cheddar. Better with cheddar smoked. Johnsonville, established in 1947 in Wisconsin, still family owned. Available nationwide since 1978. Not still family owned, not still family owned, not still family owned. Armour, Philip Danforth. Armour died many years ago, like over 100 years ago. His family continued to grow the company. In 1948, they started their own soap brand, soap being made from beef fat, beef tallow, and they started Dial soap. You may have heard of the line of Dial soap. And for the last about 19 or 20 years, the soap division has been split off from the canned meat division. So you've got Armour, Star over there, and then Dial. Armour was acquired by Pinnacle Foods, and that's a whole other story. So Armour, Star, canned sausages, meat, hash, you know, corned beef hash, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Chili, not family owned, not family owned, not family owned. The sausage here is family owned. Okay, I wrote to Miller back when you would write letters to people, and I said, could you send me information about your beers? And they said yes. This was about 1996, 97. They sent me this brochure. I was very happy to get it. It took about a week or 10 days. I wrote to Pabst and never even responded, but then when it got into the email time around year 2000, then Pabst did start responding, and better than any company really, sending me all kind of stuff. They sent me t-shirts and bumper stickers and bottle openers just because I told them I liked Pabst beer. It was way before I started doing reviews. Meisterbrau, 1983, yes, and it died out in 2005. Well, that was another old brand that was really much older than 1983. They acquired this company, Meisterbrau of Chicago. Milwaukee's Best. There's the original label, and there you see the guy with the beer wagon and the barrels and the horses, the Clydesdales pulling it. Milwaukee's Best Light, 1986. Always loved that old label, and you'll notice Milwaukee's Best has always had a few things. A shield. Okay, no longer the horses. Here's the second can. Still pretty nice. Brewed with the finest ingredients. And they always have the eagle. Well, they generally have the eagle, the bald eagle, America, Miller, Brewing, eagle. And the attractive, and if you look real carefully, Milwaukee Brewery. Gettleman Brewery of Milwaukee. Across the street, literally, already prayed, from Miller. Was a struggling little company. They did okay, but in 1961, they were bought out by Miller. And then 5 years later, Miller themselves were bought out. Why? It's an interesting story. The Miller lady who inherited the company didn't believe in drinking, so she didn't feel comfortable owning it. So she sold it. and then they were acquired by Philip Morris, a company that really did not have problems with drinking nor smoking. So we go to the below premium segment, and we know what that is. High Life, sometimes sold as a premium beer, depending where you are, and the budget beers. All right. If you go to their brewery in Milwaukee, and I've been there more than 2 or 3 times, they do sell some Milwaukee's Best apparel, caps, shirts. Mostly it's Milwaukee's Best Light, which is the big brand of the line. The premium does okay, and the ice has its place and does fairly well around here with those big quart cans. That tends to be my favorite of the line. You're getting a lot of alcohol relative to the other two, plus not too many calories. But Maria Devon and myself, the girl next door, we did an examination of this beer. Might have been on her channel. She was very pleased with it. She was looking at the BJCP Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines, and she said, wow, it really matches all the things that those guidelines say an American adjunct lager should have. Here's the sausage. And she said she could see it as a good standby beer. Something to have in the fridge and you drink it. And that's what I keep it for. You drink it, it's pleasant, you don't think too much about it, you enjoy it. It's never gonna have off flavors or be lanky or wrong. Second label, 1998, third label I mean. They had the big billboards on US Highway 61 with the tiger clawing through the sign. The Beast. They embraced the nickname. This didn't last too long. This lasted about 5, 6, 7 years. Here's the new label with Miller, and the new label, you notice Miller was dropped from there for some reason. Yes, they do make it in bottles, plastic right now, but here's glass. You might find glass 12-ounce bottles. I did find a glass 12-ounce 6-pack in Canada in the year 2000. Didn't keep the bottle. I did keep it for a while until I purged my collection. It gets 1 out of 5 hop cones on the Cyclops scale. 2 out of 5 sugar cubes. Makes sense. It's not particularly sweet. It has some sweetness. It's not bitter at all. The light has 2 out of 5 hop cones. You'll notice the Milwaukee's Best Light is relatively more hoppier than others of its ilk. Yeah, this really works. It's very light bodied. It's extremely thirst quenching. Although I do prefer water for thirst purposes. That's why I drink a lot of water. Crisp, refreshing, easygoing. It's about the most pleasant beer you'll ever have. If you're not looking at it in the wrong way. If you say, well, how does this stack up against Centerbrook Porter from Finland? You know, that's sort of it's not a very good comparison. It'd be like saying, how does McDonald's stack up against Commander's Palace in New Orleans? If you're on a road trip and you stop at McDonald's and you get one of their a quarter pounder with french fries. McDonald's french fries, by the way, Julia Child's one of her most favorite foods. Thought I'd mention that. Julia Child's, you know, she knew a little bit about cooking, but you would enjoy it, I guess, you know. It'd be fine. I know people that go there for breakfast and drink coffee. Now, if you go to Commander's Palace, it's going to be a much more involved experience, and you're going to dress up, and it's going to cost $100 a person over there on Washington Avenue in the Garden District in New Orleans. It's a different thing. So, I mean, this is one thing. And I bought West Flatirron 12 for $85 a 6-pack. That's right, I did do that. People might say, oh, they just give you beer. No, West Flatirron 12, those monks gave me nothing. I had to pay $85 plus tax. And so yeah, it's a much more elevated level. But enough of that rant and rave with Jay. You know what I mean? A rant and rave with Ronald. Because I'm telling you what you already know. Anyone with intelligence knows that $17.50 for a 30-pack is not going to be as good, or even in the same realm, universe, as $85 a 6-pack. But if you look at this in context, within context, a budget beer, it works. Now you can really go lowball and be very sorry. You can go to Costco and get your Kirkland's Light, and Jean-Pierre was drinking it and he was like, nah, I can't do this. You can go get your Beer 30 Light, and it's ghastly in my opinion. You can get your Milwaukee's Best, your Milwaukee Special Reserve Premium. Yeah. Made by Melanie Brewing. They were trying to sell it in Louisiana for $10.99 a 30-pack. It lasted 1 month. Lasted 1 month. They sold a lot of it once. They never sold it a second time. People in Louisiana don't exactly have the best taste for beer, maybe. They're not erudite, but they're not doing that. Those horrible garbage beers just do not sell here, generally. I mean, yeah, they got 4 Liquor in the store, but this does well. And people are going to pay, well, enough of that. So does this work? Oh yeah, it works for me. It will continue to work for me. Do I encourage you to go buy it and try it? No. Buy it, don't buy it, drink it, don't drink it, watch the video, don't watch the video, get excited, angry, furious about what I'm saying, or like most everybody else on the planet, either agree or be totally indifferent to it. It's your call. I mean, I'm doing the video and I'm sort of indifferent to it. You know what I mean? Like, I've drank this since 1996 and I've never been like, oh, Milwaukee's Best. Oh, this is so important to me. No, I just said, well, I'll go buy some beer. Thank you for watching the video production. One more little, I gotta get some more of that sausages. My little sister used to say sausages. I want sausages. And biscotti. But she was 4.